Hi, my name is Caitlin Green, and this is my vlog for the lecture that we had yesterday on September 28th, 2021. In Tuesday's lecture, we started to go over Chapter 5, which is probability, and I did do some probability in high school. I mean, obviously, I've taken statistics. I took it in high school, and I took it at a junior college, and so I remember probability, and honestly, I always thought that probability was kind of one of my favorite things just because it was really easy for me to grasp. But the information that we went over on Tuesday was honestly a little bit confusing for me. Like I said, it was kind of weird because I've already taken statistics before, but I guess it wasn't as in-depth as what we're going over now is. But we went over the 7 steps of hypothesis testing, and all of that made pretty decent sense to me. The HO being the null hypothesis and the H1 being just, the opposite. So if the null is saying that, no, it does not happen, well, then the alternative hypothesis is the one that says, well, yes, it does happen. And so all of that made pretty good sense to me, and I really liked the example that you provided regarding both the vaccine, but then also the one that you made about the terrorists in Italy. Now, it probably sounds morbid, but it wasn't that I liked, the idea of terrorists in Italy. I just thought it was really interesting how there were so many different factors that you can take into play. It almost kind of felt like we were doing dimensional analysis, which I know it wasn't, but dimensional analysis is so there's so many different factors to consider because you're trying to do all these conversions to get to the answer that you need. And so the problem that you set up to it was kind of similar. At least I kind of thought it was because, you had what day it was, what time of the day it was, what week was it in the year, what season was it, what country were you in, what city were you in. Like, there's so many different factors to consider, and that's one of the things that I find interesting about probability because, it can be as simple as rolling a dice and being like, what's the probability that I can get 5 times? And, you can really easily figure that out. Well, I say really easily, but I mean, you have limited, I don't want to say limited choices because it sounds like I'm downgrading, but you know what I'm saying. It's a smaller, more obtainable idea that I can roll the dice and figure it out. But the example that you gave regarding the terrorists in Italy, it's a bit more complex because there's so many factors to consider that whenever you put all the math together, it kind of makes you go, oh, well, then, that is pretty unlikely. I mean, maybe in some different areas it would be more likely, and so you would be like, yeah, I definitely don't want to go there. But, yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. I will say that the material, like I said before, was definitely a bit more confusing, and so I'll really need to go over it before we have our next lecture, which I hope we're having lecture tomorrow. Definitely need it from Tuesday. Not that I wasn't getting on board with it, but like you said, there's a lot of new information that can't always be easily understood with one glance over, but I'm going to start the textbook questions hopefully tomorrow, and maybe that'll help everything make more sense. But overall, I'm excited that we're about to start learning probability. Probably a nerdy thing to say, but I am looking forward to it. And I'm also looking forward that we're almost halfway through the class. Not that I want to be done with this class, because statistics is exciting, but it's nice to know that my quiz grades are improving and that hopefully I'll be making a positive trek through the rest of the semester. But yeah, these have been just my thoughts and concerns over the lecture that we had this past Tuesday. Sorry for rambling a bit. I'm a little bit tired, but I did learn in class, and hopefully I'm looking forward to learning more about probability so it'll be less confusing whenever I start doing the textbook problems as well as the quiz that will be coming up. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good night. Thanks.